And welcome. It's great to see such a huge crowd. My name is Jake Blumis, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the Inglewood Community Association and our Ward 9 candidates today. Are you excited? I know I'm excited. And I know the candidates are excited too. They've been tweeting about it and posting it on their Facebook pages quite effectively the past few days, so we're looking forward to this. Just a few quick notes before we start. So you have these cards, these sheets on every chair. There's a hashtag at the top if you want to tweet about it. Feel free to. If you want to post any news about this on the Inglewood Community Association Facebook page, it's listed there as well. There'll be the editor from the newsletter who will be taking a couple pictures throughout tonight, so we might have some pictures in the newsletter. If it's your first time here at the hall, the bathrooms are down that hallway. All right. So the first half is going to take about 45 minutes. And then we'll take a break. And at the break, we'll gather questions from the audience. So that's what these sheets on your chair are for as well. If you want to submit a question for the candidates for the second half, write it on the back. And then there'll be 4 of us who will go through right at the start of the break to gather the questions. We'll stop for 10 minutes, sort them into consensus or topics, and then we'll come back for 5 more questions in the second half of the break. Okay, so we'll get started. Our moderator tonight is Blair Cosgrove. Blair is a public relations professional here in Calgary and Banff. If he looks familiar to you, he used to live in Ramsay years ago. Plus, Blair moderated our debates in the past as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Blair, who will get things started with the candidates' introductions.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. There's usually a great swath of ideas and information at the Inglewood debates, and I'm looking forward to seeing you participate with your energy, your enthusiasm, and the very important thing tonight is respect and discipline. I would assume you're all here to listen and learn, and if someone's crashing miserably and you're in favor of that, keep that joy on the inside. And if someone's doing really, really well and you're a supporter of them, keep that joy on the inside. We want to give everyone their due respect for stepping up to run an election campaign at a civic level. It's exhausting, it's exhilarating, it's humiliating, but ultimately it's liberating and validating for all of us in making communities as good as we can possibly make them. And so, no matter how fervent you have an opinion that may be in opposition to something that someone is doing or saying up here, the best way is just to sort of absorb that and let the market take its course. So, I want to encourage you to give good thought to your questions that we will collect at the halftime. That's where you hopefully can have processed everything everyone has said. And if you found a weakness on one of the answers and you want to nail them with that weakness, that's where you can put the question in the paper. And if you think they're missing stuff that needs to be talked about, that's where you can bring this whole room to that subject in a second. I'm not going to allow any shouting out, any drowning out, any objections verbalized. It's really disruptive to people. And most of us in this room tonight are not professional public speakers. So give them your love. Let's have a really productive and informative evening. Any questions for me at this point? You have what's your question? Okay, just thinking about it. So we're going to start the evening. We have 5 great candidates who have assembled here tonight to share their vision of the community and maybe larger issues overall. And they are aligned alphabetically from my left to my far left. And we will, as Jake said, go alphabetically with the introductions. Each of them will get 2 minutes. When the questions start, every candidate has 2 yellow cards. We will assign a question and answer to somebody based on me pulling their name out of this cup. And so once they've been forced to address that question, the other candidates have a chance to use one of their yellow cards to rebut that topic and rebut what that other candidate has said. Once 2 cards are used up, that candidate doesn't get to rebut or participate unless I draw their name out of the cup. So, are the candidates clear on everything that we're doing tonight? Okay. Jake, Have I missed any important? No, we're good. I'm going to encourage you once more to tweet or post about this. YYC Vote is a good hashtag. And ICA Calgary, Inglewood Community Association, if you're tweeting. So I encourage you to get the critical mass of attention through your comments that way. Please be indicative, be angry, irascible, supportive, joyous, euphoric on your social media feeds. But not you. Until after, we're going to clap and give everyone a warm exit from the. So, alphabetically, Gian-Carlo Carra is going to be the first speaker to introduce himself and his recent campaign here. And wanting the job again, Stephanie Felker will speak second, Cheryl Link third, Omar Mikhalo will speak fourth, and Cesar Saavedra will speak last. And Gian-Carlo, you're free to get going.
How's this for sound? Okay, I'll begin. My name's Gian-Carlo Carra. The first thing I want to do is I want to thank the organizers of this event. I think it's super important in the context of this amazing community institution, the Inglewood Community Association. Volunteers run this. Special thanks to Jay, who's made this his project year after election after election. Thank you so much. Second thing I want to do is I want to warmly thank my fellow candidates. This is a really, really tough thing to do. As Blair said, it's a lot of work, and it's amazingly important to our democracy. So thank you so much for stepping up and participating in the project of our democracy. The last thing I want to do is I want to thank everyone for being here. I think it's really important. So quickly now, my name is Gian-Carlo Carra. I have a mission in life, and that mission is called Great Neighborhoods. I believe that great neighborhoods make a great city. And my convictions around that were really born out of the work that I did in this neighborhood, in these Calgary neighborhoods. Over the years, I was a professional urban designer. I worked with cities across North America, but I did a ton of volunteer work and a ton of action research through the University of Calgary in these neighborhoods. As you know, I was the president of the Inglewood Community Association for 7 years. We continued the work of advocacy to the city about neighborhood change, about who we wanted to be and where we wanted to go as a community. That shaped my professional practice. And 7 years ago, in 2010, I realized that in order to get that work done, I had to step up and run for city council. Over the last 7 years, we've achieved a tremendous amount. We've ended the sprawl subsidy. We have hundreds of millions of dollars of reinvestment into East Calgary communities, and it's focused on building communities built for all ages, all stages, all wages. A sustainable, wonderful network of great neighborhoods. I'm proud of the work I've done. The question at the ballot box writ large this year is whether we continue that transformation of Calgary or go back to business as usual. I hope that everyone thinks very clearly about that. Thank you.
I'm a 30-year resident in Ward 9, and I have deep connections in my community. I hold an MBA. I have 20 years experience in industry and a decade in sustainable development. I'm a small business owner as well, and I believe in community building, redesigning our outdated ARPs, livable neighborhoods, and sustainable, fiscally responsible development. I have single-handedly raised $500,000 to build 2 playgrounds in my community. I've stepped up to the Save St. Angela's school campaign to save our schools, and I've been a member of my board for over 15 years. I continue to contribute to my community by volunteering my time on the planning committee and working with SupportWorks, a community-based nonprofit providing peer support groups to people living with mental illness. Most recently, I organized a block party at Bridgeland Place for over 200 attendees. For those of you that don't know, that's one of Calgary's affordable housing units, and at the end of the month, things can be tight for families living there. So free food and a block party were well received. Of according to research, living on social assistance in Calgary is harder than anywhere else in the country, and our affordable housing crisis is one of the worst in Canada, with single parents being among the hardest hit. I grew up in those conditions with a single parent, and the challenges are real. With 2/3 of your income going towards housing, getting back on your feet is incredibly challenging. We need to do more as a city, especially during this economic trough. Things are turning around, but not fast enough for people living in the East Calgary communities. The City of Calgary must begin to focus more on tightening their spending. We need to squarely face the fact that there is a spending problem, not a lack of money, and we need to focus on jobs and affordable housing for Calgarians. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Now, Cheryl, it's your opportunity to tell us about your past contributions.
In scripting this intro, I started to think back on my history in England, renting a loft at the French Sports and Architecture School when Jack Long was still practicing architecture in the Stewart House, to renting a loft in the Ramsay Design Center when it was surrounded only by wild fields. I went through business school with Jack's son John, who first introduced me to this great area. After years on the West Coast, I then put down roots 16 years ago and built myself a house in the river. Like a migrating bird, I seem to have always migrated back to this community because I love the qualities of it, the connection to nature and the humility of the people. I'm here to fight for it, and all of Ward 9. We're the original cool character communities, the most interesting, diverse ward in the city. I've spent nearly 30 years in the trenches in business as an entrepreneur running my own mountain modern timber homes. The entrepreneurial mindset requires discipline, a hard work ethic, and a multifaceted skill set for success. If you want to get something done, hand it to an entrepreneur. We won't strike a committee. We'll just get it done on time and on budget. I will bring this broad skill set to the complex challenges at City Hall with effective, pragmatic decision-making, a respectful listening ear, and a collaborative spirit. My entire platform is designed to bring respect back to citizens and business, the job creators and builders of our citizens decide what is best for their communities. Redevelopment can be done respectfully and considerately. The foundations of democracy need to be fortified at City Council. End the secret meetings. We need transparency and accountability. We need more fiscal restraint when revenues are challenged. Cut spending, not raise taxes. Let's be ambitious and optimistic and transform this downturn into energy to build a bright future. Business smart, pro-community development and involvement. Bring power and respect back to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Omar, it's your opportunity to introduce yourself for 2 minutes and tell us about your past and your vision for and abilities as councillor.
Hello everybody, I thank you all for being here tonight, this evening. My name is Omar Keyo. I was born in the Congo. I came to Canada several years ago, and I lived in Quebec, I lived in BC. So I have a French background, so if you can understand my accent, so I'm a French speaker. I came from BC and started living in Calgary, in the Pembroke area. I live in Pembroke areas, but my neighborhood is like Forest Lawn, and you should live in Forest Lawn or Pembroke to see how people are suffering here. Because what I have seen in Pembroke and across this world, mostly my focus is helping the people. Because in the past, what I've been doing is just helping the people overseas. For the last maybe 10 years, I've been like collecting stuff and shipping those stuff overseas. I raised money. The money helped build a community center and a public library overseas. But most of the time here, we see politicians, whenever a politician kind of volunteers, volunteering has become a political tool. when you see a politician volunteering the sport, cameras around him. And I feel like that's not very good, because volunteering is something which you give without cameras around. And what I do here is, whenever I did seat for a single mother to go for a job fair, it's very important. Whenever you drive someone for a, say, someone want to go to, say, a new immigrant and going to a job interview. That's what I call volunteering, and that's what I expect to be doing in this way. Thank you.
How's the audio back there? Can you hear that? Do we have the ability to turn that? Be closer to the mic.
All right. So I will. Should I go? Okay. Okay. So I will get up because I see that some of you were at the same height level, so I think it's better. All right. So my name is Cesar, like the gentleman over there said, and I've been living in the Ward 9 for over 20 years. I'm originally from Peru, Lima, Peru, but I've lived in Calgary for 20 years. I've worked heavily with the Hispanic community, as you can imagine. And after finishing my studies of administration and political science at the U of C, I have decided to do this because after all these years living in this area, I've always seen the disconnect of the people and the people in municipality. There seems to be a disconnect that is now very palpable. They say, why isn't common sense common? You know, and I think that's what we need in the Ward 9. I think some common sense to get things done, whether it's putting a plaza where there is some desolate area where people don't feel safe. The other day I was walking down on the 12th Street around 6 p.m. and I can see how a young lady or a young boy cannot feel safe in that area. And we're going to talk about the LRT and how that's going to affect all of that. So that is basically why I am running for Ward 9 as councillor. I didn't prepare a speech because I wanted to come from the heart. From what I've seen in municipal council lately is the disconnect that there is from people to the people in charge. You know, they put stuff on their websites, the stuff that they want you to see. But what about the comments that are, you know, not very positive? We have to hear those as well. And I think that is one of the issues that we have in Ward 9 in particular. So my aim as councillor, if you choose me, will be to get a more connection to the people and get their needs out for them to be creative and to create something in the neighborhoods. Inglewood is a great area, Ramsay is a great area, and I think we can do much more. And thank you for hearing me, and I hope you have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Is the sound okay now? Okay. So the next portion of the evening is I'm going to draw a name out of here, and a candidate is going to respond to our first question of the evening, which we're also going to put up on the board. If you could put that up right now. The question, the first question that someone here at the front will answer is, in light of the trend towards densification and development in Inglewood and Ramsay, such as transit-related development around the future Green Line station for Inglewood and Ramsay, what, if anything, would you do to preserve the historic resources in our neighborhoods? So that's the question. And I'm going to pick this name, and it is Cesar. If you can answer that question, you can refer to that board, and you'll have 2 minutes. Other candidates, if you hear something that you want to respond to, you may use a yellow card, and Connor will pick that card from you, and you'll be given your chance after Cesar is finished.
All right, so in terms of this question, what I would do to preserve the historic resources of Ramsay and Inglewood would be to work closely with them so we can improve their presence in the city. I think that is, in the ward, because I think that is one of the paramount things that is needed, as I've seen when I've gone around there these past weeks, and I've seen that there needs to be more work to them for the historic site to to come forward and to invite people. And I believe that with new traffic that will come in, that will be needed. And I think we will need a councillor that is willing to work with each and every historic association and a person there, because it's not about taking side or working with this area or that area. It's to work with everyone and to get the best thing out of it, out of these associations and these historic resources that are very emblematic in the world. So yeah, that is my kind of short answer. That's it.
Thank you, Cesar. We have no yellow cards up, so we're going to move to the second question. Sorry. Okay, Cheryl. You get 2 minutes to rebut or share your thoughts.
Thank you. Historic resources are more than just the building constructs, but also the majestic trees that are critical habitat for birds and the green spaces that were designed into mature neighborhoods. To protect the feel of a community in the face of densification, it is not NIMBY. It is about achieving balance between the existing community and new densification. Both can be harmoniously achieved, but only if the community has real power at the table. This intensive densification is not necessarily a given. Just because there's a green line, it doesn't necessarily follow that it's going to be one of these TODs, in planning speak, transit-oriented developments. In fact, a Vancouver gentleman who helped in a charrette made a comment that maybe Ramsay isn't the appropriate place for intensive densification. And I, for one, believe that you can't just look at densification like some kind of virtuous concept like clean air. It needs to be done sensitively and in consideration to context in all cases, and with genuine community collaboration and buy-in. One can also protect the character of our historic neighborhoods by hitting the pause button on all the radical rezoning changes, in fact, that encourages the destruction of character homes. And the character home program proposed will do little to this end. Keep the infill guidelines. If the new builds are similar in scale, new and old live in harmony, and the cadence of the street is preserved. There is an elegance in the proportioning of historic houses, and that can be achieved with modern architecture. Thank you.
Gian-Carlo has asked to speak to this question.
This is a critically important one for the communities of Inglewood and Ramsay. Ward 9 communities built our city. I subscribe to Max Ferrand's thesis that it was the brewery and the Ogden shops that really put Calgary on the map. East Calgary neighborhoods were instrumental in building our city, and I believe they will be instrumental in our city succeeding and thriving long into the future. The idea of getting our heritage inventory protected and integrated with neighborhood change is one of the critical missions that sent me to City Hall. And the happy news is that we are actually executing on that today. The local area plan that we're doing under the Developed Area Guidebook is bringing unprecedented tools to the table in terms of heritage preservation. The 3 of them that are the gold standards that are being locked in right now is a density bonus to create a heritage fund to help with the preservation and the upkeeping of heritage properties that will be in part controlled by community councils. The second one are tax rebates, which is something that's never been discussed before, but this council is discussing it, putting it on the table to make heritage preservation cost effective. The other one, and I think it's a really important program, is the Character Home Retention Program, which we've rolled out as a pilot in Bridgeland, and which will have an amazing opportunity to roll out here in Inglewood and Ramsay. We were supposed to have the plans for Inglewood and Ramsay inked this past May, but we put them on hold until the end of 2018, so these tools could be fully developed and integrated into the planning that we're doing. And this is work that sent me to City Hall from the Inglewood Design Initiative, and that I'm super proud that we're getting done and getting done well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our second question that I'm drawing a name for is, what can you do to help reduce crime in our neighborhood? And the name I have drawn is, again, Caesar. Everything good? Hang on, we're going to give someone else a shot. Stephanie, you get to go.
Okay, as part for what I would like to do to reduce crime in our neighborhood, I would like to see continued and increased bike and pedestrian police patrols in order to maintain a solid police presence in the community. The development of community-led quarterly meetings open to business people from the community is a way to facilitate communication and stay on top of ongoing and emerging issues on the commercial front. I'd also like to see a city center network created with the goal to discussing solutions to common problems that are plaguing our inner city and Ward 9 neighborhoods. This could be a group of dedicated inner city community association presidents meeting with our police liaisons on a regular basis to discuss crime issues and develop solutions. Sorry, everyone. Part of the answer, I think, is boots on the street, but the other piece is addressing the root causes of crime and working with the communities. I believe increased communication between the communities, their councillors, and our district police office with grassroots eyes on the streets are key to successfully reducing crime in our neighborhoods. There's been a huge increase in crime in the inner city, and I would like to see something done about that. I believe I would like to see the joint enforcement team set up to coordinate and connect groups related to police encampments, homelessness, and drug addiction. This should have been done over 2 years ago, but does not seem to have been a priority for our current councillor. It's my belief that if we get too comfortable and reduce our awareness of tolerance levels or of social disturbances in our communities, then issues with social disorder and property crime could spike again. I'm committed to working with all levels of government to coordinate efforts on affordable housing, mental illness support and drug addiction, and working with you to maximize safety and quality of life here in Inglewood and Ramsay and in our inner city neighborhoods. Thank you.
Actually, just yesterday I was door knocking in Pembroke area, and I met this lady, and he told me, you know what? Actually, you are the first politicians who came to my door for the last 20 years. You know why? Because our current city councillors don't care about these people there. And what he said is what? He said that, 15 years ago, I would go somewhere, like say, at 7-Eleven at 9 p.m. But these days, I can't. And I will never allow anyone to go out there at 10 or 9 p.m. This is why I'm running for city council this year. Because my plan is to bring everybody together. That means police force, security services, church leaders, community leaders, even parents. Parents, because parents are the ones who are affected with all this problem. But don't forget that there's a problem and there's the cause of the problem. This means what? This means we also have to develop measures that prevent from these kids, into falling in crimes or maybe buying drugs and so on. So these are the measures which we need to focus on first of all. Because there's a problem. Some of my friends I know are not that smart. They have talent. They love sport. They love arts. Like why not fund sport programs? Like why not fund art programs in this country or in this city, in this one? So this is what I plan to do. I will fight so hard to make sure that these programs are developed to prevent our kids from, first of all, going into or falling into crimes and drugs. This is very important than just development plans to. Thank you very much.
Any more candidates wish to speak to that? No? Thank you.
just wanted to add that to fight the crime that is happening in the city, one of the key points, one of the key issues that I believe that we should address is the betterment of infrastructure. Just coming from the bridge into Inglewood, you just could see that there is not an appealing sight that for people to see, and it is a long stretch of nothing going on before Inglewood, and I think we can work together to make that more appealing to people, and also some other areas. I mean, some areas look like they haven't been touched by a brush paint for so long, and I don't know how hard that is to just get that going. But I mean, things like that will just give a new, how do you say, a new image, a new reflection of what they're trying to be. So that, and also a very close to the community. The more we're close, the more we are connected as neighbors, as businesses, the more people see that, the less there is a chance for crime. So I believe that, and I want to push it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our third question is, the downtown office vacancies are expected to persist for years, if not decades, which puts an added financial burden on businesses outside the core through higher taxes. What will you do to help jobs and businesses in our neighborhoods survive and thrive? And the name that will begin this is... Cheryl, if you could start. Thank you.
First of all, we must not download the tax burdens on small businesses as is happening today. Instead, we need to get a handle on the spending side of the balance sheet at City Hall. Pet projects need to be filed and priorities set that help businesses thrive. Calgary is home to some of the most innovative, risk-taking, business-savvy, educated people in the world. We need business-smart counselors who have been in the trenches in the real world of small business and get it. So we're a helpful partner, not a gatekeeper or an obstacle. We must rid of the onerous red tape and delays and let businesses get to work growing the economy and creating jobs. If we want to remain competitive, we must create the right policies and the municipal vision to make it happen. We need solution-based, pragmatic thinkers. We can explore converting the vacant high-rises into housing and tech hubs. We can be creative and think outside the box. We just need the thinkers and the thinking outside the box in council. Fresh ideas. Thank you.
We all know that the world economy is suffering. This means, like we need to coordinate all forces, like from all level of government. The city alone can do this, right? The city alone can do this, can help these risk takers, because it's a world issue. But the thing is, I will focus on just on the Ward 9 because we have so much problems in Ward 9. Remember, 40% of people living in this world don't feel safe. So the level of insecurity not only adds risk to small businesses in this world, but also affects the value of our properties. So why can't we help these people? Property owners and small business owners. Because the risk they suffer, the value of the properties goes down because of the crime, the drugs, the insecurity. This is what I have a plan. Maybe before you leave this room, please just go to my table over there. There's pamphlet, and all my ideas are on those pamphlets. One of my plans is to make sure that we create a special tax for this one. Ward 9 needs a special tax. That means we need to create the lowest possible tax for only Ward 9 because it's the most one which is suffering from all these problems. Why should we be giving the government our money, our tax dollars, and the government is not making sure that we are safe, we are secure. Our business. I have a friend. He owns a small business. Almost every week, the man goes to his business and finds maybe the window are broken. These are added expenses to small businesses. So we need to create a special tax for this one. And this is what I plan to do. And I will fight for this public school tax in this one. Thank you very much.
So the ongoing economic downturn is a reality. It's emptied off office buildings in the core. It's pushed our downtown vacancy rate to 22.1% and lowered market values, while the city of Calgary seems to have become out of touch with the actual costs of doing business and challenges. Being a small business owner myself, I believe that the fair share narrative doesn't work if we refuse to tackle waste at government excess. With small business owners contributing nearly 3/4 of their income to government at all levels, where is the line to be drawn? I'll do my best to ensure local government is responsive to small business owner needs and attempt to reduce the red tape. It's time for decision makers to understand that the cumulative effect of taxation and regulation at all levels of government. In the first 9 months of 2016, more than 11,000 Calgary businesses either shut down or moved on. That's a huge number. To make the situation even worse, this year's municipal tax freeze was just a shell game. There were huge increases to make up for lower revenues from the downtown core. 79% of all Calgary businesses got an increase in business tax, and 73% of all non-residential property owners paid more taxes. This is not sustainable for the small businesses here in Calgary. It could be the straw that broke the camel's back, and it is in many cases happening today. I'm running because we owe it to present and future Calgarians to build a city that's the best place in the world to raise a family and start a business. Calgarians are some of the most innovative and creative people on the planet. What they need is a willing partner at City Hall who will keep Calgary competitive, cut the red tape, and hold the line on property taxes. It's time to get out of the way so that small businesses can do what they do best: power our economy, create jobs, and get Calgary back to work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I agree with a lot of the framing of the situation that confronts us that Stephanie just laid out for us. A couple more pieces of color commentary. Ward 9 is the second largest economic engine in the city of Calgary outside of the downtown core, and that's largely the industrial southeast. And so when the downtown tax base craters, we spread the pain across, and Ward 9 businesses are feeling the pain. We also have a tremendous amount of small business activity in our main streets. And I'm super proud to be the endorsed candidate of the Inglewood businesses and the International Avenue businesses because of my long work with them to address a lot of the things that Stephanie laid out. We have a great ecosystem in our Ward 9 neighborhoods for startups. I've been running my campaign headquarters out of the Commons, and that place is humming with exactly the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that Stephanie was talking about. I went to City Hall very aware of the fact that our taxation system was really preying upon the inner city and preying upon our business community. And if you want to grab one of my strategic plans, point 4 and 5 of the 5-point plan that I laid out of great neighborhoods addresses these issues specifically the taxation issue, and then our relationship with the province, which has major structural issues in terms of us being able to fix our taxation system. The reality is our businesses are carrying way too much of the tax burden, and the way we tax is insane. It puts a lot of incentives onto bad behavior and covers a lot of bad behavior. So I've always advocated that we have to move from a market value type property tax to a blended rate between ability to pay and the cost of servicing to reflect people's choices for where they locate and how they locate in the city. And we have to make sure that we do not subsidize growth that actually costs us more. We've ended the sprawl subsidy, so our taxes are no longer subsidizing growth we can't afford on the edge of the city, but there's more we need to do.
Election related and whatnot. It was 133 years ago that Calgary was made into a town. 1884, we became a town, and so we've come a long way. I guess this neighborhood was one of the first footprints of Calgary. A lot of history here. On September 19th, there will be a website, electionscalgary.ca, that will have all the candidates' links and profiles and other information, so you can get it all in one spot. That goes live September 19th. That's because on September 18th, the candidates here and everywhere else in the city will file their nomination papers. In case you didn't notice, between 9 to noon on September 18th, you have to be down at City Hall to file those. If you're voting and you can't be around for the election day, then advance polls happen October 4th to 11th. And I assume this will be a voting station here. I don't know if that's true. But all of the voting stations will be listed on calgary.ca/election webpage. So you'll know where you can cast your ballot. And if you can't be here either for the advance polls, October 4th to 11th, or for the election, you can do a mail-in ballot. And if you're going to be traveling or there's some logistical problems, you can get a mail-in ballot for yourself by phoning 403-476-4100, and they'll cover you to get your vote done. So we have our fourth question now. And the fourth question is, how would you reconcile 9th Avenue in Inglewood as a regional transportation corridor and a vibrant village main street? And we have two names left in the bucket. And the first person to answer this is going to be Omar, please.
I do understand that the community acts as a city corridor for traffic that go in and out of the core. So that kind of affects the vibrancy of the community, mostly the Inglewood community. But we shouldn't just focus on the negative side of the problem. We should also focus on the bright side of this traffic, because I think the community is kind of exposed to most people coming and going into the core, and this brings in businesses, customers. Like the first time I passed by this 9th Avenue, I saw a boutique somewhere. I said, oh, can I maybe go there one day? So I saw, because I passed through the avenue. So I went to downtown, went back home, but on the weekend I came back, because that's the benefit of being the routes where people crosses from downtown core to some other areas. But still, yes, it is a problem, and this is why we need to bring everybody, like all community members, the leaders, the people, to come and talk about what we can do to solve these problems. Because I understand that there's sometimes where cars are not allowed to back on around the roads when it's peak time. So that's a problem, because if I come to shopping in the area, so I can't really put my car there. So I have to go far away so I can find my car. And that's a problem. It's a problem, and we all know this, but we also have to see that there's also a benefit of being, the route whereby people go in and out of the city. So that's my point on this one. Thank you very much.
If there are no further comments from the candidates, we'll move on to question 5. Many residents of Inglewood and Ramsay felt the Green Line charrette was one of the most successful engagement activities with the city in recent years. How do you intend to honor the vision that resulted from that charrette? And I'm drawing the last name, the formality really. It is Gian-Carlo.
Well, I love that question, because the Green Line charrettes, the community, deep community engagement based on Jack Long's sort of dictum that every person is a planner, was one of the reasons, one of the core reasons why I went to City Hall. We went to City Hall with a document in hand called the Inglewood Design Initiative that was 5 years in the making. It said that the plan we had for our community was not getting the job done. It was pitting developer against community. The city was a grim referee in that conflictual process, and we needed to deeply engage communities and create win-win-wins for the city, for developers, and ultimately for the community. You know, charrettes are what I did for a living across North America, and I understood the power of that tool. And we've been able to turn it into a best practice approach to city building with the largest investment that the city's making in the history of municipality, the largest municipal investment in the history of Alberta. So what's, I think, really excited is that we had a great engagement. And what we have to do to honor that engagement is take the vision that we established and turn it into high-quality law, turn it into high-quality policy, and we're not there yet, which is one of the reasons we didn't have all the heritage tools, we didn't have all the traffic calming in place, we didn't have a lot of things worked out as a community, we hadn't fully engaged the community in the most meaningful way, we had a plan that wasn't quite there, and the thing that I have to do, and that everyone in this community has to do, and everyone in Ramsay has to do, and everyone along the Green Line has to do, we have to honor that amazing vision we established with a high-quality plan worthy of these communities. And that's what the Inglewood Design Initiative asked for, that's what's being delivered, and it'll take more hard work, but it's well on track and super exciting. So I'm very pleased that everyone enjoyed the charrette.
Caesar is asked to comment on this question.
I find it very interesting what our current councillor just said, that this has been a long time in the making and they've spent a lot of work on this. But until this day, there is no drawing of the station of Inglewood and Ramsay that one can see how that is going to work for both communities. So I think that should be basic. And hopefully, I'm mistaken, hopefully that is there. There is a video that shows the station and everything, but there's no actual drawing of the station. So at this point, what I see is that the station will be on the Ramsay side and go into Inglewood under the underpass of the rail tracks, which is I guess what we have to make work, because it is designed that way. But I would very much like to see a sketch of the station, just so people can kind of quote their concerns and can have a vision of what the community will look like eventually, right?
Okay, well, this is a pretty loaded question, and just to give you a hard time, GC, I almost wonder if you wrote this yourself. First of all, it's debatable if it's the most successful engagement with the city in recent years, or even if the resulting vision is one that residents support, as there's a lot of concern voiced that the approach is top-down instead of community-driven. When the Green Line does eventually get built, checks and balances will need to be put in place to ensure the livability, walkability, and heritage atmosphere of Inglewood and Ramsay are safeguarded. The vision will need to be continuously checked to ensure it still makes sense and is supported by the residents. Slow and thoughtful wins the race, I think, in this situation. The need for an updated area redevelopment plan is paramount, not only here in this community, but in most of our inner city communities, including Bridgeland, Riverside, which is where I currently live. I'm fourth generation in my home. We're 100 years heritage home, and my children's great-grandfather actually built it. So it's pretty, we have deep roots, and I've spent a long time trying to protect my little piece of the world over there. But I'm digressing. The need for an updated area redevelopment plan is paramount to maintain the character of your community and provide good access for pedestrians across the CP rail tracks and protect your heritage homes. I think the word density is being thrown around a lot. It's almost like a virtue, but density for its own sake is wrong. I feel like there are members of our council that aren't listening to their communities. For example, we were very close to having our area redevelopment plan process approved, and the residents fought against council to have spot rezoning done on this 7 East Street block. We all came to council and we presented, and we were heard, but at the end of the day, it went through, and now we're stuck with one little tiny pocket of this massive building on our block that doesn't make sense in our community and doesn't uphold these heritage values. We need to allow inner-city communities to feel the full effects of their current densification, including traffic impacts, before heaping more on the path.
Any more discussion from the front on that question? If not, then we're going to enter into a 10 to 15 minute break. And before you get up to do anything, I hope you might take the piece of paper on your chair, write a question down that you would like us to propose to the candidates tonight.
Yeah, there's some pens up here at this table if someone wants to write a question. We'll get that sorting out the questions.